Jim Rome takes on sports.
Why? Because I have a job to do.
With rapid-fire takes.
So I don't want to hear from you lava pigs on this notion today. No idea what you're talking about. You're complaining more than you like to breathe air. It's like you get up in the morning only to complain and cry and moan on social media about things that you don't even understand.
He's the Spitfire of sports smack.
Take advantage of it. Get up in here.
The Jim Rome Show podcast.
What's your beef?
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
You've been warned.
1 o'clock, welcome back in. We are live from Social Taco in Holman. We're in the Taco Terrace. You can join us each and every Tuesday. The doors open officially at 11 o'clock, close at 2, but the fun does not stop there. If you can't make it in within that allotted time, 3 to 6, the half-off happy hour. The best happy hour you're going to find anywhere. They got half-off deals on things like Mexican pizzas, chicken feathers, the Buffalo Gringo Taco, wings, the spring rolls, and so much more. Don't forget about the loaded street fries, the quesadilla nachos, and all those delicious drinks, including the handcrafted cocktails, the award-winning frozen and on-the-rocks margaritas, as well as cervezas. It is Social Taco, socialtaco.bar for more information.
All right, this is a bombshell of a comment by Kirby Smart just a few moments ago. If you remember, his president, Jerry Moorhead, gave an interesting interview last week. And just moments ago, Kirby Smart on the SEC breaking away if national rules cannot be agreed upon. This is a direct quote from Kirby. I've said this for a long time to our president. I've been a huge advocate that if we can't find rules that everybody plays by, then we should just play on our own. I'm not afraid of that. I'm not afraid to break away and say that our conference is strong enough to go out and play. End of discussion. So when you have the person of Kirby Smart's power and the respect that he has across the game of college football, for him to come out and say that the SEC could potentially break away and play on their own, that's significant. I'm not afraid of that. I'm not afraid to break away and say that our conference is strong enough to go out and play.
I don't doubt that. Now, is it going to be the same tune? Are we still getting paid? I say we. I'm just going to be pretend that we're all representatives of the SEC. Are we still getting the same check?
I would say yes, and the reason why is because ESPN, it's not predicated on their non-conference games.
Well, and you brought it up, right? It's plaster on the wall there at the Sandestin of the most viewed college football conference in the country is the SEC?
Absolutely. So
ESPN wants those eyeballs regardless.
Would money drive I'm just talking about potentially. If you did that, when you're looking at the top prospects in the country, is that become a money thing, or is it then I've got something more to consider because now I'm thinking about conference and I want to play in the SEC, which I view as the best conference in all of college football, the top talent. How many times do we see that in the offseason from guys coming in? Or is it going to be, I'd like to go play there, but I'm not going to get to play in as many different venues like the Big 10, the Big 12, get to play those schools?
I think those players are so selfish now with the amount of money that they're making, as long as they're being drafted in another monitor. I mean, I've got a copy of it. I'll tweet it out. They're bragging about how many NFL players have been drafted from the Southeastern Conference. That's just another factoid that they are pushing in Destin.
Well, that would certainly mess up the whole rivalry thing.
Yes.
That we're trying to preserve, unless we ask a few of those schools to come along with us.
SEC, more draft picks than any other conference, 20 straight years. That's another one of the banners that they have on display in Destin, Florida, just to remind everybody about what this conference means. Let's go to North Carolina, our bureau chief in the great Tar Heel State. Joining us from Raleigh, North Carolina, Demetri Ravanos joins us here on Three Man Front. Hey, Demetri, how are you?
I'm good, gentlemen. I was just asked earlier today if the SEC was ever serious about breaking off and doing their own thing. Would they do it with the 16 now, or would they expand to 20 and do a full, real, we have enough to do our own insulated schedule? And if that's the case, is there anybody other than UNC, Duke, and State that the conversation would begin with? Answer – sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish what you're going to say.
Okay, I was going to say my answer was, if I get UNC and Duke, that's a conversation. If it is UNC and Duke, and if you want UNC, you have to take NC State. I'm Greg Sankey. I'm saying I think we're good at 16. Thank you.
We kind of talked about this last week when you had Jerry Moorhead, the president of Georgia, saying what he did in multiple newspaper interviews. I've maintained that if the SEC said, okay, we are actually going to do that, I think immediately you're taking phone calls from Tallahassee, from Miami, from Clemson, and possibly Chapel Hill. I really do. I believe those 4 schools would immediately be on the phone with Greg Sankey and said, hey, are you guys serious about this? We want in. Just like you're going to have a lot of other calls that you're probably not going to take from Virginia Tech and West Virginia, in schools like that. But there is no doubt whatsoever if the SEC was really serious about doing this, and by the way, that's a great comment from Kirby, and I would love to think that would have the potential down the road, but we all know that's not going to happen. But just for the folly of saying that it may happen, I would love for the SEC to grab 20, 22, and then you can break them up in divisions like the NFL.
I mean, I think if you are going to use this as the catalyst to get us to the super conference, I'm okay with it. I think if it is the SEC breaking off to do its own thing, that to me is shooting yourself in the nose to spite your face. Like, I don't think we then argue over which is better. I think both the grander national championship without the SEC and the SEC championship without anybody else are both lesser products than everybody working together to figure out what the right path forward is. I do have to say, Pat, like, I kind of disagree. I mean, like, I think definitely Greg Sankey would be fielding calls from all of those places. If I'm Greg Sankey, I'm sending everybody but UNC and Duke to voicemail. If I'm splitting up the pie even further, you better be a national brand. And I don't know who is outside of UNC and Duke.
If we were going to put it into TV or to Hollywood terms, Steve Carell played the character Michael Scott on The Office. Was it better without Michael Scott? Was it better with him? I'm just trying to put the SEC as Michael Scott here.
Yeah, no, it was clearly better with him. Now, like, this is the same thing that we will be talking about if the SEC leads the rest of college football. Certainly, The Office without Michael Scott had its moments, but it was never as consistently great as when Michael Scott was there.
Robert California was a little underrated, though.
Oh, he's Spader's good.
Yeah, James Spader's
solid.
He had some fantastic one-offs. All right, let's continue the speculation though, Demetri, because it's just fun. So in your mind, let's say that this happens, right? They go out, they add the UNCs,
okay,
the Dukes, and maybe 2 others. So we get to 20, a flat even number, 20 teams. What are we looking at that point? Would you just do like maybe a 4-team playoff within the own conference? Because, I mean, you're not doing a 12 or a 16, I wouldn't imagine. Do you go to 4 and it's just kind of the top 4 seeds and that's how you go about it? Or would you stick with, hey, the top 2 teams, they play in the SEC championship, and, hey, that's just our national championship game?
Yeah, I mean, my gut, Conrad, would be, take it back to the old school BCS, right? And the winners of the 2 divisions play for the championship. But if you want to get creative, break it up into 4 divisions, and the winners all play in a playoff. Yes. I think that you're not going to go beyond 4. Maybe you could make the case for 6, but if we're talking about a 20-team thing, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think MLS is sitting at like 28 teams and like 16 of them make the playoffs. Like, what's even the point when you get beyond over 50%, right? So the SEC would have to keep it very small.
They have 18 teams in the MLS.
Playoffs?
In the playoffs, yep. They get the top 9 from each conference gets in the MLS playoffs.
If we get it down, guys, I'm going to jump in here. I like this idea on the 4-team SEC, all SEC conference moving forward.
Landrum, we finally got to MLS talk. What the people of Birmingham come to sports radio.
Yes. I'm trying to salvage this right now. So as you look at that, potentially you do like a Friday night game, or potentially 2. You have a doubleheader Saturday game there for that Final Four, and then you have another one where we play the championship game in a big city. I don't know how we're going to do that, but I think there's all kinds of different roads that you could go down if you chose to do it.
If you're the SEC and you are saying that we believe we are more valuable than any of the other conference properties in this sport, wouldn't you lean into that and the championship game is on campus?
Ooh.
You would have a venue, whether it's Atlanta or the new stadium in Nashville, they would pay big money for that to be able to host that.
And that's the thing, right? Like, if you are doing this, you then have to figure out every way to bring in dollars because there are just fewer opportunities if you are not in with a group of 130 other schools. So, that's probably how we get to not only neutral site championship, Pat, but that's probably how we get to the playoff getting too big.
Well, and we just had 16 teams. Every baseball team gets invited to Hoover, and that's fun. I'm not saying that you invite all 16 or whatever that number is if you did this, but I think half of the field and incentivizing, you're thinking, all right, this is going to be another economic boost, another home game. Potentially if we have like a first and a second round and we're going to play into that, then you could probably get some of the presidents and ADs fired up about that as well.
Yeah, I think so. It is all fun to talk about because I think we all know whether it is whether it's 24 or 16 or we just blow this thing up. Like, we all know another big element of change is coming to not just how we determine a champion, but college football in general. All of these things are fun, but part of the reason that it's fun is I don't think anybody has a good grasp on what is realistic at this point, right? Like, you have everybody lined up against the SEC wanting to go to 24 now, but that's pretty, obviously because Tony Petitti knew he could just pull the lever of uneven guaranteed bids off the table and get everybody on his side. What if Greg Sankey comes back and says that he would be down with 24, but it's got to guarantee that the SEC and the Big Ten get more automatic bids than anybody else? That would be a pretty brilliant way to get everybody back against 24, I think.
But then that goes back on what Greg Sankey originally said, and he said that the SEC didn't need automatic qualifiers. I'm just thinking about potentially reasons he says, no, I'm not going to say that. Or
Oh, listen, I think that it's interesting, right? Like, certainly there is the ESPN paycheck motivation here, but I also think there is a reputation that the SEC has cultivated that now it is sort of the prisoner of, that matters a little bit more to not a little bit more, a lot more to Greg Sankey than the reputation of the Big Ten matters to Tony Petitti, right? Tony Petitti sees numbers on a spreadsheet. Greg Sankey came up in the world of college athletics. He takes this all very seriously. This is, I was having this conversation today that Greg Sankey, is like the scene in The Dark Knight Rises, where Bane says to Batman that Batman chose the darkness. He was born into it. Tony Petitti chose to be in college sports. Greg Sankey was born into this game, and he is not going to be bent as easily as these dudes that came from other businesses to run these conferences.
Okay, so I kind of want to continue on with that for a second because we brought this up on the show, and we know what the reality of it is, but the average college football fan probably doesn't, and that is that Greg Sankey, let's say the SEC did ultimately agree to 2014 playoff. That's not ultimately Greg Sankey's decision, right? Because he's answering to the presidents and ADs and whatnot from these universities. But the average fan doesn't know that. They see, the SEC bending the knee. They're giving the Big Ten what they want again. So if we do ultimately, whether it's this year, next year, whenever, get to a place where everybody agrees on a 2014 playoff, what is the public perception of Greg Sankey at that point to that average college football fan that maybe doesn't know how things work behind the scenes?
Yeah, I don't know if it's so much Greg Sankey as it is the SEC in general. Like, for people that want to believe SEC influence is dead and gone, and to a certain extent that is true, but not to the extent that I think some people want to sell that it is. This would just be more evidence in their back pocket. I think Sankey might come off as a little bit weakened in the eyes of, like you said, Conrad, like the very casual college football fan. But I do think that Sankey is going to frame this in a way where the SEC woke up to the reality that this was inevitable, and so we are going to do everything to ensure that it works not just for the SEC but for college football in general. That's the kind of guy Greg Sankey is in terms of understanding messaging and also understanding, when the tide is turning, how do you get on board without looking like you have given up? I think he's going to be very conscious about that.
More from Kirby Smart. He says, if we could actually function financially, it would make our programs more stable. We could support things financially. I'm talking about all the sports and do our own rules. I'd be all for that. End of quote. So that's kind of playing off his previous quote saying that, hey, doesn't have a problem with the SEC being strong enough. I mean, listen, you see how women's basketball has been strong for a long time. Men's basketball has really come on the last few years. Baseball has always been. We've won the last 6 national championships in baseball. We dominate Omaha every single year. That's going to continue. Look at the Women's College World Series. I mean, dominating that in Oklahoma City. You got 5 teams there. We know about college football. I think the SEC, again, this is a pipe dream. It's never going to happen. But if they were to go down that road, there is no question in my mind ESPN would be completely fine with that. They'd probably up their monies that they pay the SEC, and you could make it work. Because, I mean, I maintain you're going to lose all these cross-pollination non-conference games anyway because the SEC just went to 9 teams. 9 games in the conference. So there's no reason to schedule those big-name opponents anymore. Give me some MAC opponents. Give me Sunbelt. Give me Conference USA, whatever.
Here's my one pushback on that, Pat, is that not every sport has the luxury of being football. Look at the highest rated, even men's college basketball games, the second most popular college sport. The ratings aren't great. They are great by comparison this year to where they have been, but they are not the kind of thing that make your eyes bug out of your head the way they do for the top college football games on a random Saturday in the fall. You're right. Like Alabama dominates, Omaha dominates, Oklahoma City has been dominant in gymnastics, which is growing in popularity. But all of those things are a drop in the bucket if you do not have the big national tournament at the end. So, would the would ESPN be apt to keep the money the same or even increase it for an all SEC product? If they could only bid on the football, yeah. Everything else, I think, then becomes an anchor at that point.
It would be interesting to see. I'm like Pat. I like kind of throwing it out there and going down that road, just knowing at the end of the day, if you forced them to, the SEC could do it. I don't think that anybody thinks that just right now, just going through it, that this would be best for everyone. But maybe that's where we're going. Is then you have respective conference commissioners that say, okay, well, it's not good for us. Maybe it's good for you guys. See you guys later.
Yeah, I think this is where we're going. I just don't think that when this happens, the SEC and the Big Ten are going to look like they do today. It is going to be much bigger entities. We could be talking as many as like 32 teams breaking off into their own thing that maybe begins with the SEC and is under the SEC banner.
I wanted to ask you this because it's kind of a left turn, but I was thinking of this when we're hearing these comments from Kirby and somebody that's really kind of throwing ideas out there and I don't know if controversial is the right word, but it's certainly talking points, and it seems like a complete 180. We were making the joke earlier about Kalen DeBoer when he was asked about his thoughts on the playoff, and it was, well, you can make an argument for any size amount of teams. We just need to win all the games we can, so it's not up to the committee whether we get in or not. And it just made me think. Can you think of a more vanilla SEC coach in recent history than Kalen DeBoer when it comes to answering questions from the media? Maybe that's not a bad thing, but it's just you never really get anything from him, ever.
I have long believed that actually Eli Drinkwitz is just as vanilla, but Eli has a way of wrapping it up. Kalen DeBoer is the most proudly vanilla human being I think I've ever seen in my life. I've never seen someone so glad to have zero personality.
Fair?
Yeah.
And I obviously am a Bama guy, and also I am a fan of Kalen DeBoer. I want him to continue to do better and do better for this program. But, let's be honest. I don't think if you were alone in a room with DeBoer, more is going to be said than how you do it.
I mean, you could probably provoke more of a response with a different question.
Maybe.
How's Washington
Maybe, but
softball
maybe
doing
not.
this year? That'll get them talking.
Did you have
Right,
a
there you
house
go.
picked out?
Did you?
I think that would have the opposite effect. Right?
So
That
Washington
would very
didn't make
quickly
the
happen.
College World Series, right? So he's actually got time now to spend on football activities. Is that true? Washington did not make the Women's College World Series?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay.
No.
I didn't know if that had anything to do with off-season workouts.
Yeah.
Like
Big
it
Ten
did during
softball,
spring
not really my
practice.
wheelhouse.
Yeah. All right, Meat. Enjoy your time there up in the wonderful city of Raleigh, North Carolina, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right, boys. Talk to you then.
See you. Interesting comments from Kirby Smart. We will continue to go over what Kirby said in regards to him not being afraid of the SEC just splitting off and doing their own thing. We'll talk about that. Get to your text messages. Three-man front live on Jocks.
125, we continue the discussion. The SEC thinking about just taking its ball and going to its own playground, I guess. Interesting comments coming out of SEC meetings down in Destin. We'll keep you up to date on those. Keep you up to date on our friends at the Garage in Pelham, thegarageInPelham.com. That's the website. And when you navigate there, you're going to find the $40 off AC check coupon now with the stifling hot months here in the Deep South, especially in the state of Alabama. They're upon us, and whether it's hauling your family to and from activities, whether it be practice, camp, maybe it's vacations, maybe it's just your day-to-day schedule. You're going to be in the car, you're going to be in that van, you're going to be in that truck. You need to make sure that the family is taken care of with that AC check coupon. You can find that there as well, but also they carry tires. If you need something just like an oil change, or you need them to check out a hose, a belt, anything going on with your automobile, they can do everything under the sun. But what you need to know is 5 stars across the board. That's why they're rated as one of the top you're going to find anywhere in the country, and that's why so many folks continue to go to the Garage in Pelham. You're going to love the folks who are there. Bob is the owner, very charitable human being, as well as Robert and Richie when you walk in that clean, professional lobby. TheGarageInPelham.com. Check out the website, and when you do, tell them Landrum from Jock sent you.
All right, so if you're just now tuning in, we've got a bevy of comments and quotes from SEC head coaches around the college football world down in Destin, Florida, in regards to the college football playoff. Kalen DeBoer, he says, for me, it's not really about a number. It's about just trying to win every football game so we don't have to put it in a committee's hands. Alex Golish, nobody in that room cares about what I think about the college football playoff. The CFP is literally the last thing I've thought about since I took the job at Auburn. Whoever's figuring this out, God bless them.
That's a great quote.
Kirby Smart. I've said this for a long time to our president. It's been a huge advocate that if we can't find rules that everybody plays by, then we should play on our own. I'm not afraid of that. I'm not afraid to break away and say that our conference is strong enough to go out and play. He says that he does not have a conviction on a CFP format. He says, what's your main purpose? I do agree with Commissioner Sankey. We're not a tournament sport. Meanwhile, Eli Drinkwitz. Last year we were told that if we voted on 9 SEC games, the Big Ten was going to vote to a 16-team playoff in 2026. John Sumrall, Florida, on whether his colleagues in the SEC are in support of the CFP expansion. They felt like going to 9 games was more than likely going to shift the playoff number when we went to 9, and that didn't happen. I think some of those guys felt alienated. Steve Sarkisian, he loves the SEC championship game. He says, I love the championship game. I'm hopeful we can maintain that game, though I don't know if that's reality with potential changes. Mike Elko, he wants 40 teams in the college football playoff. He says, I don't know why you ask us. It doesn't matter what we think. I don't know why we're trying to become a trophy sport. What does Mike Elko want? 40. Then I won't get fired. It's okay to make it hard to get to the playoff.
But heaven forbid you miss it one year.
Vanderbilt's Clark Lee, his preference for playoff size, as many as we can have, and it makes sense. said expanding would be great, but didn't have a strong preference on a number. So that kind of gets you up to date on the coaches that have been quoted. Lane Kiffin is not scheduled to meet with the media until 5 o'clock this afternoon. Meanwhile, Steve Sarkisian, he was right outside one of the meeting rooms. This is the audio that we were able to procure from our sources down in Destin. This is what he had to say about him being potentially reprimanded by the SEC for his comments against Ole Miss.
Coach, given the SEC bylaws under sportsmanship, was wondering if you were sanctioned at all for the comments you had about Ole Miss.
No, I was not. And again, I think some of those comments were, I hate to say, taken out of context. I was talking about the inequities in college athletics. And one of those inequities was as it pertains to transfers and teams and how we all can recruit certain different transfers. We have a rule at the University of Texas, we can only take 50% towards your degree, no matter how many hours you've completed. Other schools can take all of your hours that you take. To me, that's an inequity in our sport. Those are some of the things that we have to work through. I could have used macroeconomics. I could have used engineering. It wouldn't have mattered. The class was irrelevant, and that was a poor choice of words on my part, but no, I was not punished for that.
There's all kinds of inequities when it comes to payment structure, when it comes to a kid's visits, and how you entertain them versus maybe how another school entertains them or another student athlete.
Just don't mention Ole Miss.
I mean, I hated to break down semantics here, but I am, because it was not taken out of context. You didn't say you were misquoted. You said it was taken out of context. So you should have simply said, I should not have used that as an example.
Yes.
But your comments, it was not like a 5-minute diatribe and Matt Hayes took out the most inflammatory comment that was smack dab in the middle of the article.
No.
That's taking something out of context. Like, he's not saying that he didn't say it. Yeah, he's now saying that it was a poor choice. He should have used macroeconomics, but he knew what he was doing. He knew very well what he was doing, just like Lane Kiffin knew what he was saying in the Vanity Fair article that now he has tried to walk back multiple times. So we'll see what Lane Kiffin has to say.
I wasn't defending Sark. I just thought maybe he wasn't intelligent enough to come up with any other courses.
Just don't.
Again.
Don't mention the school. Don't mention the school, and you did, so apologize for it. That's it. We move on. But yeah,
but it was not taken out of context.
No, I screwed up.
Quote.
I misspoke. I should not have said that.
Correct.
That's it.
That's in a discussion. That's it.
Apologies are hard.
Especially
if you're not truly sorry.
Yeah, correct.
Well, I mean, when you're all liars anyway. I mean, why do you need to
wait? That was honest.
What am I apologizing for again?
That was at least honest.
What lie was that?
Any update on the basket? Has the basket arrived?
I don't know. Pete Golding has. I've not seen. He was not available for media today. For some reason.
Just a knock on the door. Excuse me. There's something.
Housekeeping.
Sacronesian. I'm not sure how you pronounce his name, but he's in here, I'm told.
But it was.
You just
funny.
need a basket with the syllabus for the class in the basket. That's all you need.
But it was funny to see that Lane Kiffin, for the first time ever on a social media on the beach, he didn't have anything to say.
Well, he's said a lot lately, so maybe someone finally told him to shut the hell up. Just don't say anything.
He'll have plenty to say today at 5 o'clock, and I'm sure he'll be on the Paul Feinbaum Show. And he will clear up all these things that were taken out of context, like Steve Sarkisian was.
Yeah, it is funny how that worked, because I asked Patter, I said, why is Lane showing up so much later? He said, oh, well, he's going to walk immediately on with Paul after. I said, that's...
Yeah. He will walk out. He will...
Very fitting.
Say a couple of things, and then he'll get out and he'll, kibitz with Paul, and that'll be it.
He likes the attention, but pretends that he doesn't like the attention.
Yes.
He's the guy that shows up to the party late.
Yeah. All right, we're going to do some Pat Ponders when we come back. This is 3-Man Front Live from Social Taco.
Welcome back in. We got Pat Ponders along in momentarily. Stark Exterminators, that is a company here in the Deep South I want to tell you about. Over 62 years, they've been family-owned, and Stark Exterminators here to take care of you, whether it's the stinging insects, the pesky ones that can be inside of your yard, hopefully not inside of your home, and hopefully not on your skin or your family's skin. Well, you can do it with our friends at Stark. Stark, 100% of your satisfaction is guaranteed. It's really simple. Go 855-STARK now. That's right. Pick up the telephone, call 855-STARK now, or go to StarkExterminators.com. When you do, set up an appointment for one of their team members to come out to your home, your place of business, maybe both. Inspect it thoroughly and address any current issues that you have and look for any issues that come up down the road. Once again, 855-STARK now, or go to StarkExterminators.com. When you do, always tell them Landrum from Jocks sent you. Pat's got questions. We try to answer them. This is Pat Ponders.
All right, question number 1. Over 400,000 people attended Sunday's Indianapolis 500. Sports or otherwise, what's the biggest crowd you've ever been a part of?
Ooh.
Sports or otherwise. Could be a concert, could be a sporting event, could be
You'd have to be at like a crazy festival to have over 100,000.
I guess it would be Talladega for me because I was there on one of those big race Sundays, and just given the amount of people, infield, stands, outside, I would think it would be Talladega for me.
Yeah, I mean, mine would be an Alabama game. I'm just trying to think. I mean, there were some – I mean, when you factor in the stadium, over 100,000, then who's out on the quad and stuff, like during some, maybe like LSU games during the Leonard Fournette days, things like that. I mean, you're a couple 100,000, so yeah.
Don't they guesstimate Alabama and Auburn on game days? You basically at least double the attendance inside of the stadium?
For the game of the century between Alabama and LSU in 2011.
What, 300,000 or 400,000?
There was obviously over 100,000 in the stadium, and there was another 100,000 plus in the quad. Ooh. That did not go in to the game.
Yeah.
I think mine would probably be the NFL draft, because when I was in high school, it was in Nashville. And there was one day where I kind of went by Broadway a little bit and walked around. There's a lot of people there. It was awful to get around anywhere.
Wasn't that like 400,000 or something crazy like that?
Yeah, it was my senior year of high school.
Was that when everybody
600? Well, over 3 days it was 600.
I was about to say over the course of 3 days. But it was packed.
Whew. That's when everybody was renting the scooters, right?
Oh yes, the scooters.
The bird scooters?
Me and my friends did that.
Yeah, I don't know, but there were so many people there. That was the best way to get around, and then that became kind of a deal.
Because people were just leaving them all over the place and stuff? Yeah,
of course.
Yeah. We had a problem with that here, I think, at one point.
All right, question number 2. On this date in 1967, Cincinnati was awarded an AFL franchise. The team would later take the name Bengals, inspired by the former Cincinnati football team and the rare Bengal tiger housed at the Cincinnati Zoo. But if you were in charge of the Bengals helmet design, what would it be?
I would go – I like the what do they call it? Ice.
The white ones?
Yeah.
Those are cool.
I would go that one as my primary.
Those are really good.
With that look. When I was a kid, which is weird, I was such a helmet geek, I did not like the Bengals helmets as a kid.
Are you talking? Okay, see, I remember.
I like the one with the tiger on it.
I remember before they went with the stripes, and that was awful. It just said Bengals.
No, that was terrible
on the side of their helmet.
Yeah, I wasn't even counting that one. The one with the stripes wasn't crazy about as a kid, and I don't know why. If it was like I didn't realize that they were symmetrical on both sides when they did the stripes, so it kind of threw me off. I keep it. I just go with that white tiger look.
Yeah, that one's really good.
If you'll remember Siegfried and Roy, that's how they got people re-inspired about their show in Vegas.
How'd that work out ultimately?
Well, not great.
Details. That's right. Those are not important details. Yeah, I really like the white helmets. I really like this old school tiger logo, like this one right here.
I see it. Okay.
That one, if you could do that on the side of the helmet, I would like that as well.
Can it be a little smaller?
See, I kind of like the yeah, I would want it to be a little smaller than that. I like the orange and black because orange is my favorite color, but they had all the jumpsuit jokes that they used to make, and so maybe you want to avoid.
You go
that.
black helmet with maybe the orange stripes, Molly.
Ooh.
See, I like the
That could be
stripes. I think they have some of my favorite helmets. I just think they're cool and unique. I know they're in the same division as the Lions, but I kind of feel that same way about the Vikings. I think the Vikings have a really cool helmet with the horns.
Yeah.
I like when teams do stuff like that. It's not like just the logo, it's something more unique.
My dad, when he used to travel around, he would bring me hats back from Major League cities, but he would bring me back he brought me back a Vikings thing, and it was like a stocking cap that you put on your head, and it's got the two foam horns coming out of the side, and then it has the gold locks, like the braided locks, and then it had a guide, and it was for the Vikings fan. And so whatever your hair was doing, like one around the horn, another around the horn, said maybe your mood during the game, or if you were available, or it's all kinds of neat.
So it's like
things.
the upside down pineapple of helmets.
Yeah, yes, actually, and him giving that to his 9-year-old son. Now I ask a lot of questions.
It's a unique idea. I like it, though.
Thanks, Dad.
Sorry I had to ruin that.
All right, next question. In China, robot barber kiosks are starting to cut hair. Which would be more inclined for you to do? Let a robot cut your hair, or ride in a Waymo self-driving car?
Wow. Do I want to look bad or die?
Okay, I'm going to say Waymo because I know enough people that have done it, and they've all been okay.
There's no way.
That whole thing just still freaks me out.
I'm not trusting a robot. I will take my chances in the car that could potentially kill me. Because how's that robot cutting hair?
Did you see over the weekend how Waymo had to cancel Nashville service because of all the rain in downtown, flooding on the streets? It was messing up their radar and their LiDAR on the cars.
Oh, don't like. Oh.
But this robot, he's got scissors.
Yeah.
No.
Yep.
No.
Yeah, I guess the robot could kill you cutting your hair, too, accidentally. Would you like the straight razor option? Nope. Don't want that on my neck. Thanks.
They got it, and they're going around the ear. You're thinking, well, I hope they didn't have a bad day, or all of a sudden they have a stroke.
So which one are you doing?
They spasm. I guess I'm going with a car.
Yeah,
what are you doing?
I'm going the car.
All right, final question.
I don't like it
this
either.
is from BB. Hope you get well, BB. Travelers are being warned to double-check their hotel room bills after a man on social media discovered items that he and his wife thought were complimentary actually carried a fee if they were used.
Oh, that's happened to all of us, right?
The man argued that hotels prepare elaborate setups of items which could easily confuse guests into thinking the items are free. He also said that the minibar menu was partially hidden behind the luxury items, making it less obvious that the products came with a price.
You got to just know not to touch those.
So BB asked the question, do you assume that items staged in a hotel room are complimentary, or do you get stuck paying for that $8 bottle of water?
It depends. If it's two small economy size bottles of water, that's not like a Smart Water or something like that.
Yeah, if there's Fiji in there, I'm suspicious.
I know that it's complimentary. If it's a tall or more of one of the bougier names of water, then I'll usually check.
Yeah.
But no, I would assume that
toiletries I always assume are complimentary.
Yes. Yeah.
As they should be. But yeah, I'm like you. The only thing I would even think about, even if they have like the K-cups and stuff for coffee in there, even that I'm a little like,
I'll use those.
That seems a little suspicious.
Why do they always give you way too much decaf and never enough regular coffee?
That's a good point. That's a good question. Yeah, outside of toiletries and water, I assume it's all going to cost me something, so I stay away.
Yeah, same. I don't touch anything at a hotel mini bar at all.
I did tear up a mini bar one time when I was a kid at a hotel, and my mom was not happy about that.
But you're putting that in there for the person who has way too much money or romantic getaway. You and the wife, you're not leaving the room all weekend, and you need all those supplies.
Yeah. Sometimes they just have really good-looking snacks in there, and you're like, I just kind of want to take some, and they're not cheap.
All right, that's today's Pat Ponders from Social Taco.
Thank you, Pat.
Thank you, Pat.
Questions.
Those were very, very insightful.
Great.
Good.
Thanks.
Provoking. More that might provoke thought from the SEC meetings and destinies. We continue. Social Taco and Homewood on Johns. 150 three-man front. We continue live from Social Taco here in Homewood. We wrap up at 2 each and every Tuesday, but the half-off happy hour continues on the patio or inside, whatever the weather's doing. Mexican pizzas, chicken feathers, tacos, and all kinds of specials, not only on food, but also on drink, Monday through Friday, 3 to 6, socialtaco.bar for more information.
Well, we've got a long summer of heat and humidity ahead, so keep your home and your family comfortable with America's most reliable HVAC brand, Trane. And to help, Trane is offering up to $1,350 rebate on select home comfort systems. Learn more and find a comfort specialist near you at Trane.com.
Well, I know this will not interest Conrad, but the international hockey championships are being conducted right now, and the United States beat Austria 4-1.
Yeah.
So they're now stop. Just stop.
Stop it with your fake cheering. Fake cheering.
So Team USA punches their ticket to the quarterfinals as they have moved on. Are you done now, cheering for your fakeness?
Just really proud of our boys.
You sound like an SEC coach.
It's a big one.
Ask for a comment on the future of the college football playoff. Just okay, whatever. Tote the company line.
Just win as many games and don't leave it up to the committee.
So
Matthew Tkachuk had a big day.
Yes,
for
he's
the
a good
United
one.
States.
He's really good.
4-1 over Austria. So the U.S. domination in hockey continues.
That's great. You just made my day, Pat. Thank you. I was down here, now I'm up here.
So full of it. So fake.
I'm trying to work my way back up. I thought I got back in the good graces of our beautiful country.
Well, needless to say, the big headline coming out of Destin, Florida is Kirby Smart basically telling the rest of college football that if we cannot come up with our own rules, that the SEC should break away and do their own thing.
Text coming in on the text line, 205-834-9450. Drew has chimed in. He says, if the SEC broke away, I think they'd want 24 teams for the pettiness factor.
I think you'd want to get as many as you could. Not to where you're picking up scraps.
That's good.
Yeah.
You basically broke away because you weren't for a 24-team playoff, but you put 24 teams in your league.
In your conference.
Yeah.
Okay, so if this – and, again, we don't think this is going to happen. It's just a fun idea that was thrown out there, and it's fun to speculate on it. Would you go full-court press on Notre Dame? Like, would that be part of that, like sending a message of, oh, we're going to just go get everybody we want because we have the best product? Not saying they would say yes, but I think you'd want to go pretty hard at Notre Dame.
Oh, I think they would go hard at Notre Dame regardless. I think that Notre Dame, if they thought that Notre Dame was interested the last time around, then that phone call would have been taken.
Because I think everyone just assumes, well, if they join a conference, it'll be the Big Ten or maybe the ACC, but probably the Big Ten at this point.
Is this conference big enough for Texas and Notre Dame?
Oh, that's a good point.
Texas won more championships in conference this year than any other school. We've created an animal.
Pay to win.
They won 6 SEC championships this year. Florida was number 2.
Maybe that's why Sark wants the SEC championship game to stay around.
Yeah.
He wants another crack at it.
Just hope he doesn't see Georgia in it.
Anybody
else but Georgia, please.
Arkansas had the third most. They had 4 SEC championships this year.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Auburn had 3.
Are all of those sports still around at Arkansas?
Yes.
I was about to say tennis was not one of them.
So track and field, I'm assuming.
Anything indoor track, men, women's, all that. Yeah. Alabama only had 1.
We're about to get softball.
You only had.
You're calling softball?
You only had
softball,
1.
too. Auburn just won golf over the weekend.
No, not national championships. Conference.
Oh, we're talking just conference championships. Well, national championships pretty good too.
One in the oven, so to speak.
Just wait till the fall.
Yep. Wait till the fall. My new T-shirts that we're designing.
Yes.
They're going to be awesome. And they will go viral.
I can't wait.
It's going to do it for us. Appreciate all our friends, Dave, and the entire staff here at Social Taco, all of our friends here, all of our friends out there. Have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday. God is great.
Jim Rome takes on sports
Why? Because I have a job to do.
with rapid-fire takes,
So I don't want to hear from you lava pigs on this notion today. No idea what you're talking about. You're complaining more than you like to breathe air. It's like you get up in the morning only to complain and cry and moan on social media about things that you don't even understand.
he's the Spitfire of sports smack.
Take advantage of it. Get up in here.
The Jim Rome Show podcast.
What's your beef?
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
You've been warned.
Jim Rome takes on sports.
Listen, it is not too late to stop this. Do not do this. Leave it alone. Don't touch it. It's damn near perfect. It's beautiful as it is. Stop trying to fix what ain't broke. And stop telling me that the tournament isn't the tournament unless the 15th place team in the SEC gets in. Stop jerking with the best event in all of sports, you pigs.
The Jim Rome Show podcast.
What's your beef?
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.